There you go. This is Driver. Just want to try to attempt at a short video. Might be a little lengthy, but I'll try to keep it short and to the point. Doing a video for a friend and modder that I know, and I figured I'm going to put this up on YouTube and share it with the community in case you might want to learn a little something. Just a couple of disclaimers. Anything that I'm going to show you how to do, be wary that it may not work exactly for you. So do this at your own cost and your own discretion. If you're going to edit any kind of a mod, whatever you do, never ever re-upload it for the community. That once you do any kind of edit, I don't care how small it is, you could delete um, something you don't like on a vehicle. Like I had in 17, I had a truck I like to drive, and I didn't like the flags on the mirrors, and I removed them. I never re-shared that, and never will. I don't care who you are. Anyhow, um, but just keep in mind that something can happen. It could fail on you. It could do all that kind of stuff. So what I suggest, if you're going to mess with a mod that you have, um, what I would do is I have a folder. I have a whole bunch of folders here, obviously. This is on my external hard drive. I have a folder for FS19 stuff, and then I've also got stuff for 17 and some other games. So I, number one, keep my mods sorted out, separated. I only use the mods that I need. I have a lot of mods in here that I think are cool that I might use someday. Yeah, you never know, right? So keep your mods cleaned up. Only run the mods in your game that you're using at the time. This, yes, is a pain in the butt, but this will also eliminate the chances of conflicts and issues and reduce the amount of errors and warnings you may or may not receive. So, with all that said, I can go into a more detailed on that at another time. If so chosen, I can always make another video. Anyhow, so most of you know how to go to your My Games from your documents, go in your Farm Simulator, and we all know where the mods are located. Now, once you've got your mods thinned down and you're still having some issues, it could be a lag or performance issue. The first thing you want to do is go check out this log. And let's blow this bad boy up. If you're having an issue with it, number one, FS19 changed the way their log system works. This will be a looping log. So this here, if you've never deleted your log file, I don't know how long it keeps them in there, but it will have, this is your first start where it says physics. This right here is the beginning of opening up your game. So if you haven't deleted your log in a while, but you've run into a problem today playing and you want to figure it out, you're going to want to go down somewhere and find the last part where it started the load, the very last part. Now mind you, it's going to have similar stuff at the end as well. So anyhow, what you're looking for, and you got a couple ways of searching for this. So we're back pretty much at the top here. You can either scroll down like so. I have a warning here because I have a file that is not zipped. It's just in a folder. That only affects multiplayer, and I'm not worried about it right now because it's not finished. What you're looking for is you're looking for errors. Errors is your big problem. Warnings are also problems, but usually not game breaking. These warnings here for performance may make your game a little laggy, but it'll still work. Errors, on the other hand, will make things not work properly or even at all. We have two look fors for emissive light shader, and it's looking in folders, and it's a string of folders. So it's telling you that we're starting off in the Rocky Mountain Valley folder. That's the map. It's telling you to go look in the map folder, and it's telling you to go in this folder, that folder, that folder, that folder, and just so on and so forth. Me personally, when I do any kind of map, I try to keep these strings as short as possible. It cuts down on space, it makes it easier to find stuff, and it makes your game run a little bit smoother. Now don't go into a map and start cleaning this all up. You could cause yourself a lot of headache and a lot of grief, and it's really not worth it in the long run. Most of the time your maps are going to run pretty smooth. If you have a large map, and let's say you're building that map, now number one, you probably already know this to start with. You want to keep it as clean as can be. There are a lot of map modders out there that make really clean maps. They're small downloads. They run really well, and they can even be large maps. Wild West is one created by Kaz, and that is a 16x map, and it is a third of the size of this 16x map. Now, the differences of what is put into the two maps that's been imported, so on and so forth, can also adjust your game file size. Anyhow, that's not what we're here for. So, this right here is having a problem finding this emissive light shader right here. It's looking for it two different times and basically two times, and it's looking for it in two locations. Now, this error right here, you might see it a couple times through the log, and that's pretty normal. There's times where it might look for it over and over again a couple of times. So we're gonna just work on the emissive light shader. We're not gonna work on the rest. We're not gonna worry about this animated objects down here. We're not gonna worry about these warnings right now. We're only gonna focus on the emissive light shader. So to fix this problem, first you need to find that file. So I have the mod unzipped because I'm working on it. You will more than likely have to unzip the mod. Now sometimes what you can do, just to make it easier, if you're just editing the XMLs, not this i3D file, if you're just editing an XML, so let's say there's an error with fruit types. So we'll open this bad boy up. And you go through here and you figure out where the problem is. If it's in the zip folder, you cannot edit these files. You cannot do nothing with them other than look at them. Like the PDA, you can't even look at it when it's zipped. You got to drag this thing back on the desktop to even look at it, and we're not doing that. So you're best to unzip it, but sometimes if they're just the XML file, you can copy it out to your desktop or a folder possibly, edit what you need to do, drag it back in. It's basically going to copy it again. It's going to ask you if you want to replace it. You say yes. But before you do all that, make a backup of what you're doing. Either back up the whole mod, make a spare copy, put it somewhere like over here. This is my external hard drive. I have at times made folders in here of stuff that I'm doing. Typically, if I'm modding, I have a modding folder for that, and I put it in here. But anyhow, just find a place for it. Sometimes the easiest thing to do, this is in your mods folder. Make a copy of it and just put it right here on your desktop. If it makes it easier, make a folder that says, originals. Mod originals, original mods, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. So now what we got to do is we got to find that emissive lights shader. Now, if you heard me, I said lights. So if you look, you got to specifically follow the text. And it might be hard to read that when I highlight it blue, but I want you to see what I'm typing or looking at. So it's emissive and then capital L lights. It's got an S that's lowercase and then a capital S for the shader. We need to find that file in our map. Sometimes they get put in there and then somehow they end up not past the correct direction. Now, it's telling us that to go into maps. What was all that? I usually pull this on two different screens, so you're going to bear with me going back and forth. Let's see. Maps, new folder 9. I'm going to just call it boot. I'm not sure exactly. I can't even pronounce that word, so I may have to reference back a couple of times here, but I think we said 9, that folder. That looks about right. Make sure you're going to the right places, though. If you have to go back to this log, go back to it 100 times if you need to. Good thing is it's right here beside me. I don't even have to keep going back and forth. So it's under textures, and it's supposed to be in that folder. Now, you could do one of two things. It's obviously not there. Now, the emissive light shaders are pretty much used for multiple things, so there may only be one left on the computer. Now, obviously, if we go look in this other string at the other one, it's not going to be there either. So, the easiest thing to do at that point is go back to the main part of the map where you see the map DE or whatever this i3D might be named, and just search for it. So, we need to search for, I'm just going to search for emissive. And there's one right there, emissive lights shader. So, let's see. Let me blow this up a little bit and we can actually read it. Alright, so it is in the shaders folder in the main folder. Pretty convenient, right? So, it is right there. Easy peasy. So, now what you got to do is you need to tell the map where it's at, because it doesn't know where it's at apparently. It is lost. So, the easiest way to solve that problem is to go into this map DE. Now, don't double click it. I do hope that you are running Notepad++. This is a free program and it will make life a lot easier. I have mine set up with themes for dark. I have headache issues. This bright notepad in the background here is about to drive me bananas. But anyhow, so make sure you get the Notepad++. It is the best way to do it. If you don't have it and you don't have a way to download it, or you've got a thing against downloading something new or just don't like the program, you can also do this in Notepad, this one here, and some of the other notepads that can come with your computer. I don't recommend them, but it can be done. If you're going to even think about seriously getting into doing any kind of modding or editing, I would recommend the Notepad++. Just Google it, get the latest one, get it downloaded. I actually have mine already pinned right here. So what you want to do is you want to right-click this. Don't double-click it and open it with Giants Editor. You want to right-click it. And what you want to do is you want to edit it with Notepad++. Like I said, I highly recommend you use that. So you do that, give it a second, it'll pop up, and it will look like another language in a way. So these are path files. This here is how it looks for things on the map. And the list is lengthy here, as you can see. So let's go back to the top. Let's not scroll through this. You can if you'd like, but it's going to take you a little while. So with this program, along with like Notepad and everything else, Control F will give you the find feature and a couple other options. Type in what you're searching for. Emissive. We'll just go with that word. Hit find. Now we want to make sure that we're on the right file. So we're going to have to go through here. All right. Here we go. Emissive lights shader. I'm sorry. Now see, right now this is calling back to the data and shaders. So that one is probably okay, because if we look at the log, the one it's trying to call for is right here. It's inside of a folder inside the map. So you got two options at this point. You've already got it in the map, so you could change the path to just find it where it already is in the map, or you could do it to the data. I would recommend using the one that's already in here. So that one that's there, we'll just leave that bad boy alone. For now it seems to work. There's not an error with it yet. So let's go through and see if we can find some more of these. Oh, there's another one. There's the one looks like the first issue. See that string right there? That's what it's using. It's using that to try to find the path of where it's located. And to make you understand, so you have maps right now. I hate that I highlighted all that. And then it's got a /. So it tells it that this is the first folder inside the map folder, if that makes any sense, the mod folder itself. So that's the first folder, and then it's /. This is the next folder. And then at the end, you end the last folder, and then you put the name. It is case sensitive. Make sure you put caps in the right places. If you do not, you will produce the same error that might be a little slightly different. So what we want to do is we want to edit this. And this is actually pretty simple. Once you actually do this a few times, it kind of just becomes nature. So more or less, all we want to do is we'll just leave that / right where it's at. And if I can learn how to highlight, and I still can't get in there right. There we go. What we want to do is just highlight just that. Make sure you keep those parentheses in here. Delete. And type in the word of the folder. So in this one here, it's shaders. Double check it. Easiest way to do it, in case you're worried about you might do it wrong, copy this right here. Oops, I didn't want to open it, I want to copy it. Make a copy. Right click, copy, or Control C, copy. Either way you want to do it. And then go right here and paste it. So Control V, that pasted it. Alright, so that should be looking for it in the right place there for that one. Save your changes. Remember, saving is always key. You go in here and you screw up and you move the wrong thing, and it will make your day glorious, to say the least. So that was one. We had two of them, if I'm remembering correctly. So let's find the next one. So, oh, bingo, right there. It was right near it. So we're just going to do the same thing we did the other one. We should have it still saved in our deal. So Control V, bingo. It's there. There is a faster way to do that. You can use the replace feature. So I could change that string to be, I put that there and replace it with what string I want to. Downside to that, it does make it a lot faster. You have to be careful. Every time you hit replace, you need to make sure that the next one it moves you to is the correct one. I personally would recommend you start just manually doing them like that without, messing with anything up. So we only had 2 of those, so let's save it up and close that out. Always close it out when you're done. Now, to simplify everything a little bit here, we're going to go back in here. We all know where our log text is, right? You do know where it's at, right? Okay. All right, so delete this log. You don't need it. We want a nice fresh log is what we want. And then what we want to do, let's load the game back up. So what I always do when I'm testing stuff, I always just go to a new empty game save. I have it testing here. It's going to yell at me because it's missing a few mods. This is my real gameplay. Don't want that one. Just go to a test spot. We're not going to save it anyway, so it's not going to hurt nothing. It's a slot. Just start it up however. It doesn't really matter. I always make sure that first run through, no mods are on. Now this is just a DLC, but it's a habit. I don't even use the Homer, so I just deactivate it. Now when I go back in later on for further testing, I'll run that DLC to make sure it cooperates together. Nothing gives me a glitch. Which reminds me, I'm still need to buy those DLCs, don't I? Missing the Anderson and whatnot. So this will take a couple minutes to load. Every map is different. We all know this. While this is loading, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to put them in the comments down below. This is going to be up on the YouTube, obviously. That's probably where you're watching it. If you want, you can private message me. I check them as often as I can. The same thing with the comments. Only thing that I ask, let's keep it clean, let's keep it constructive. I don't mind you telling me, hey, you could have done it this way, but don't sit there and call me an effing idiot. Don't do that BS. I'm not in for it. That is one good way for me to not only remove your comment, but find a way to ban you. I'm here to I'm doing this to try to help you. If you got something that helps me, let's do it constructive and let's keep it as a family. Let's quit making enemies out here. So, now loading with this map has always been a little lengthy for me. I'm running on a Windows 7 system. It is beefed up, but I think that the map needs to be shrinked a little bit. But it's doing little things like this that can make your gameplay much better and improve things. So all we're going to do is we're just going to start it. We're not going to go play. We're not going to go buy a harvester. Well, we can go jump in a truck. Let's see what we got. Right here by the forestry. So let's see here. Well, we can go drive around. Basically, all I do is I just go in the game for a couple minutes. Half the time I don't even move my character. I just go in and say hi. See what I've got and whatnot. So, at this point, that's good enough. Let's quit the game. We're not going to save it. Like I said before, just quit. Yep. Of course, I have to tell you twice I want to quit. But it's what it is. Okay. So, now we have a new log right here. Let's go take a look at our log. And as we scroll down through here, we still have the warning for not being zipped. And that was the same performance warnings from before. And that was something else we didn't touch yet. We did not get into these animated objects. So doing that right there solved our issue. Now, sometimes that does not solve your issue. I did try to create a video earlier that I'm still contemplating whether I'm going to put out. But I added in the animated objects. It wasn't actually in the map. And it still failed because these items are not located in that. So it's going to take a little bit more work. So I decided to redo the video to do a more simplified thing to show you that how it works and that it does work. But there are times that there can be issues. But just do that, work on one error at a time. don't try to fix multiple errors till you actually get to know what you're doing. Because sometimes fixing an issue sometimes can create a new issue, a new error. So, like for instance, the animated objects XML. I put that in there. I have one right here, and I just dropped it in. I told it where to find it at, and it created a new error. The thing is, if you did that 6 times and it doubles up your errors, you don't know where you goofed. So just try to keep it simple. Once you get to know what you're doing and really be able to read the text and know what everything means, you could go bigger. This is not the time to go big or go home. So with all that said, this has only been a 20 minute long video, so that was shorter than the last one. But like I said, you got any comments, questions, feel free to let me know. I have a Discord server if you want to come join me. I work a lot of hours, but when I have the time, I get on here and do stuff. I can try to help you as much as I can. No promises, no guarantees. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up. If you've never been to my channel before and want to see more content, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I do Let's Plays of Farm Sim, truck simulators, and there's probably going to be some more games later on. So feel free to join up with me if you want to join. Anyhow, other than that, y'all have a great day, and I will catch y'all next time. See ya.